Riot Shields. Tip how to deal with it in with three rules. Got an interesting video today. I fought a guy with a Riot Shield, and I started thinking, I hear a lot of people rage over it and things like that, and I got a lot of knowledge from playing Siege. I don't know if anybody plays Siege, but you got to deal with a lot of shield action, money and whatnot. But this is a particularly cool idea because of the way I approach it. It came from combat, like unarmed combat. I was a MMA fighter, and I'm going to get my buddy Ruben in this video. He is a professional boxer, and I wanted him to do the video with me because I wanted you guys to see how the breakdown with these three rules, how it implies to kind of the way that fighting kind of can happen, as far as pocket and outside the pocket and things like that. So with no further ado, let's get into it. Okay, people. So it's a different day. Obviously, I'm dressed different because we had some technical difficulties, but basically I'm gonna break this down into three. There's three rules here when you're attacking somebody with a Riot Shield. And we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna talk about this and compare it to, combat, unarmed combat, MMA, boxing, any really martial art you're talking about. So you've got right now, where I would consider maybe a little farther than this, but we're gonna use it. We're gonna just back up as far as you can, Rue. This is about long range. So long range, the Riot Shield isn't very effective. So he could throw a stun from here, but really, that's a close range weapon loadout. So what we're gonna do to attack him is we're gonna cut angles, and we're gonna get to the next stage, which would be the medium range. In boxing or in fighting, it's called the pocket. So we can call it the pocket in this video. So for me to get to the pocket, right now, if he were to throw a stun, so throw a stun, Ruben. So we'll explain this first one. So if he throw a stun right here, I can just keep my ADS, and I can keep him at bay by just pre-firing. If I were to even flash, if you were to flash, you could just pre-fire, and you're gonna get the same. He's gonna keep his shield up, because if he were not to, he's gonna take fire. Okay, so for me to close this distance, what I'm gonna do is cut angles. So if you were to throw something, I'm just gonna cut angles and close this distance. All right. Now, once I step in, once you're dealing with this long range, if he's to peek you or throw that, he do anything like he just did there, we're gonna be able to get the kill there. Now in Warzone, it depends on if it's solos, or if it's duos, if it's quads and whatnot, and if he's got teammates, on how quickly, obviously if you got teammates, you're going to cut those angles with your teammates. You're going to have a guy here, you're going to have a guy there. What you're trying to do is get the exposed sides of his body. But one-on-one, what I'm going to do is cut these angles, and I'm going to try to close distance. Now, when you get to this pocket, this is where he gets really dangerous, because now if he were to throw a stun, I'm not going to be able to turn my hips. So what I want to do is, when I'm cutting these angles, I want to keep him at bay with wanting to throw stuns or do anything to harm me. So run, hop, get some, see how I got his legs there, and just keep getting closer until I can cut angles. Now, once we're inside here, I can't get too close because he can melee me. But what you're going to do is you're going to start from the outside and do just that, what we're talking about. I'm going to keep some pressure. And now once I'm closer, I can get the kill. Level 1, and it's not that quick. Level 1, you're going to definitely want to get shots. All right, now is where we're in the pocket. So now it gets dangerous. So what I'm going to do is use that very tactic to cut these angles and to close distance. All right, now we're in a danger zone. So now we're going to run through what can happen here and why this is so dangerous. So, we discussed long range. Okay, let's say I'm starting to push. And once Ruben knows I'm at that pocket, he's gonna know as a good Riot Shield, operator, that he can do damage when I get to that pocket. So I'm gonna try to close this. This is where it becomes a problem. So now you're gonna keep him at bay. Now we're at the close. Now we're still in the pocket. This is the most dangerous part, in my opinion. Now, if he were to throw a thermite from here, see what I'm saying? It's very. You got to give that ground, and if I've got to back out, just like fighting, if I've got to get out of that pocket, I mean, that's what I'm gonna have to do. So as long as you pre-fire and you keep him at bay, think of it like a jab. You keep that jab out there, I can control him in this pocket. Once we get past this pocket and we're in this pre-fire little battle here, where we're cutting these angles and we're working together like the footwork. See how I'm trying to get these subtle angles on him? So once we're here, you want to become very aggressive without getting directly in front of him. So I'm gonna run, cut, and every time he tries to redirect to correct the angle, we're gonna be on his hip. So you want to attack his hip at the 45, kind of like Lomachenko-esque. If you don't know who that is, you need to Google it. If I don't cut these angles and get aggressive enough, work your melee, Ruben. If I try to stay here and just keep my pre-fire and give him an opportunity to work this melee, that's what we're gonna get. You have to have a lot of dexterity in your angles and a lot of quick movements to keep him where it's very hard to get his head around. Okay, so if I come around this corner, let's go live one time. And I'm gonna work through these rules we just talked about. Sometimes you're not gonna get to start at it, so we're already in the pocket here. So already I've got to get very aggressive and I'm gonna have to give ground here. So you see him? I know he's got the stuns. When you close that distance, you have to do it with angles, huge angles too. They can't be, you got to think of it more like a Z than a S, or more of a Z than a, you can't have tight angles. You need to have very dramatic, angles you're working. It doesn't really matter if he's using a throw, if he's very accurate with, if you're cutting those angles and you're jumping and he hits you with a throwing knife, I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes you get caught, just like in the fight game. It's the hurt business. Sometimes you're going to hit right in the forehead with a throwing knife. But if you work through those sequences and you run those 3 levels of how to close the distance and how to finish the kill, you're looking at high percentages of taking the guy out that's got the Riot Shield. And that's basically what we wanted to show in this video. And we're going to keep running tip videos. We're going to keep, putting out content, a very, not clickbait stuff. We're really working on viable actual tips and strategy that actually works. But I'll catch y'all.